And we welcome you to the TD Garden here in Boston, Massachusetts. I am Benny from Vito Productions, and NBA2K26 presents another exciting edition of the 2025-2026 NBA season playthrough here. We have an Eastern Conference matchup featuring the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. As you can see here, the Celtics and the Heat are not off to good starts here. The Celtics at 10-16. As you see, the home team, the starting lineups: Anthony Simons, Derek White, Sam Hauser. Then you have Xavier Tillman Sr., then Namiya Keita. For the visiting Heat, you got Donovan Mitchell at the guards, then Pelle Larsson, Norman Powell, and Bam Adebayo at the forward positions, and then Kel'el Ware at center here as the Celtics win the tip. The Celtics are 10-16 in fourth place in the Atlantic Division, 11th in the Eastern Conference going into this game. And then a half game behind, you see Hauser for three, as there's a slam dunk right there. And the Celtics are off to a 2-0 start here. Adebayo has it for the Miami Heat, 13 on the shot clock here. Adebayo coming around, layup good, and we are all tied at 2. Bam Adebayo averaging 23.4 points a game here. Derek White over to Hauser here, as there's some injuries for this team. Celtics are without the services of Jason Tatum as for a while, as you see Derek White for three, and he drains it. Celtics up by 3 now. Mitchell back over to Norman Powell. Powell coming around. Powell with the layup, and that's in. See, Norman Powell averaging 20.6 points per game. The Heat are 10-17, just a half a game behind them, in 13th place in the Eastern Conference. You see Hauser for three. That is off. They say Ware will get the rebound. Larson getting a start here. Tyler Hero again out. And, of course, they are without the services of Terry Rozier, who's serving an indefinite suspension, as you know what's going on in the real-life NBA news. Adebayo, layup is good, and the Heat are on top by 1. So that is up to speed for both teams here. Simons coming through. Both teams are combined 0-3 in watched games. See, White for three. That is off, as Ware will get the rebound. The Heat are making their first appearance in schedule block number 2, where the Celtics are making their second appearance. First team to make a second appearance in schedule block number 2, and this will be the last time we see the Celtics in schedule block number 2. We might possibly see them in number 3 here, as you see the Celtics are back on top 7-6. For those who are unfamiliar, I do schedule blocks. The first 2 are randomized games. You see Powell misses it. Keita will get the rebound here. Pelle Larsson in his last game against the Nets, no points on only 4 assists for him. That's not Pelle good there. Hauser for three, and he drains it. Celtics up by 10, or up by 4, I should say. They're at 10 points. The Celtics have not been above 500 at all this season. You see Norman Powell for three. He drains it. It's only a 1-point game. They have not been above 500 at all. The Heat, though, as I have mentioned plenty of times, they started off the season 5-0. Then they had the rash of injuries. As you see Xavier Tillman, he misses that one. Adebayo will grab the rebound. As we're about to be 4 minutes into the game, Norman Powell has it. Gets a screen. Powell with it. 9 to shoot. Adebayo with the slam dunk. Norman Powell will get the assist there, as we're over 4 minutes into the game, and the Heat are back on top by 1. Of course, a slew of injuries. Derek White for three. That is off the iron. Adebayo getting the rebound. Pelle Larsson with it. Mitchell back over to Larson. Larson, and you see Powell. That shot is up. That was a slam dunk attempt on the offensive rebound. No good. You see Simons has it now for the Celts. You see here, Simons with a bucket. It's good. And the Celtics are back on top. Heat shooting 5 of 9. The Celtics 5 of 10. See Davion Mitchell, the former Sacramento King, has it. And Adebayo for 3. Too strong. Keita with the rebound. You see Derek White with it. Derek White coming around, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line as Larson's called for his first personal foul on the shooting foul here. So Derek White is going to go to the line for 2. And looking at it right now, this is the last time we're going to see the Heat, or the last time we see the Celtics. The second and final time we'll see the Celtics, as I mentioned. You see Derek White missing the first free throw on schedule block number 2. This is the only time we'll see the Heat on schedule block number 2. They could possibly be on schedule block number 3, especially if they stay in contention for the play-in spot at least. For those who are unfamiliar, I was getting into it again. You see White hits the second one. I do schedule blocks where every team is first 2 schedule blocks are random games. As you see, Ware will get the rebound there for the offensive side. Adebayo with it. 7 on the shot clock. So 2 schedule blocks. Larson for 3. That was Paolo bad there by Larson. White coming through, pass it over to Simons, I should say. Xavier Tillman back over to Hauser. Hauser for 3. Keita will get the offensive rebound, pass it over to White, and Derek White drains the 3. That's a 5-point Celtics lead right now as we're halfway through the first quarter. But as I mentioned, though, 2 scheduled blocks to start off this season playthrough. Random games. Every team is guaranteed, as you see Powell getting the 3 points there. Every team is guaranteed to have at least 1 watched game, so all 30 teams will be featured once for a watch game per schedule block. Starting at schedule 3, block number 3, I'm kind of still working on that because that is going to lead into the All-Star break. Not every team is going to be shown. And if there is a team that it's going to be shown, as you see, the game is tied there after a shot by Adebayo, as he's averaging 23.4 points a game, as I mentioned earlier. Derek White for 3. That is off the line. Adebayo grabbing the rebound. Norman Powell with it. Leading up to the All-Star break, I'm probably going to have one winning team with a winning record, or in a play-in spot at least. They're going to get priority and get shown. And you see Adebayo with the dunk. He has 10 points already. And the Heat are back on top here with 4:36 to play. Keita, normally a bench player, but getting the start in today's game. He misses that one. Adebayo with 12 points after that slam dunk, and the Heat are back on top by 4. He had a triple-double in a game, in their last game against the Brooklyn Nets, in a loss as a timeout for the Celtics. 4:16 to play in the first. It is the first time out of the game, which means it's time for me to promote my channel in full length. I am VW Productions. I do sports video games on this channel. Maybe also do some travel vlogs or game vlogs if I go to a live game. I do have a live game vlog from when I was at the Sharks Carolina Hurricanes in San Jose earlier this season. But getting back to this project that I'm doing right now, it is NBA 2K26, the 2025-2026 NBA season playthrough, and that is, I play one game for every 2 to 3 calendar days, maybe even more, depending on how things are set up. But I try to fast track this. I play the game, go through the player stats, go through the post-game ticker for those set of calendar days that I go through, and then go through the injury report, and if there's any very necessary news and notes, I will also go through that as well. I also do college football 26 content, and my latest, the first week 13 college football simulation. The game has not been determined yet at the time of this recording, but I will post it at the end of the game for my simulation videos. I do at least 3, maybe 4 simulation videos a week for college football 26. And that is do like whatever I think are going to be the big games. So I'll just have it recorded doing a simulation game for there, as well as I am planning on doing a 28-team college football playoff. Yesterday was when the latest projection video for my 28 team, looking at the projection bracket, that is out as well. So I'll leave a video, so I'll leave it for that one as well. As you see, Derek White for 3. That is off the iron. Is it Yakachionis with it for the Heat? Jaime Jaquez Jr., he actually missed the first time as well. Jovic, back to Adebayo. And that is in, and bam, Adebayo has 12. The Heat up by 6. Simons passing back over to Derek White. I'm going to tell you right now, Keita's coming with the slam dunk. Yakachionis back over to Jovic. Wiggins into the game now. Back over to Adebayo. 8 on the shot clock. And Adebayo coming through. 1. That jumper is up, and that is no good. Hauser with the rebound for the Celtics. The Heat out-rebounding the Celtics 10-8 right now. Hauser over to Keita, and Keita's going to get the layup, and it's a 2-point game. You see Yakachionis over to Wiggins. As Andrew Wiggins gets his first 2 points of the game. He's averaging 17.1 points per game. Simons has it for the Celtics under 2 minutes to play in the first. 24-20, the Heat on top. 10 on the shot clock. Simons, jumper, no good. Adebayo grabbing the rebound. Back over to Wiggins. Coming through. Being guarded by White, and Wiggins will go off. That's going to be off the rim. White will get the rebound. 1.5 minutes to play here in the first. Xavier Tillman Sr. Last game versus the Bulls, they only were held to 75 points. White for 3. He drains it. It's only a 1-point game. 1:10 minutes to play in the first. Timeout called by the Miami Heat. They lead 24-23. We're going to take a timeout as well. You are watching NBA 2K on VDub Productions. We are back here in Boston, 24-23. The Heat on top with 1:10 minutes to play in the first. 20 left on the shot clock as the Heat called a timeout. They do have the ball. You see Eric Spoelstra sitting there, his team struggling. They were 5-0 to start the season, and of course they had a slew of injuries plus a suspension to Terry Rozier after his arrest. Smith into the game now for the Heat. Wiggins still in. Back over to Powell. Norman Powell for 3. Too strong. Minot has it for the Celtics. Peyton Pritchard to Boucher. Boucher passing it over to Shireman. Back over to Boucher. Boucher for 3. Too strong. Jaquez Jr. with the rebound. Andrew Wiggins has it. And there is out of bounds. That's still going to remain with the Heat as we have some substitutions. Number 50 is what they say. Jovic. Back over to Norman Powell. Wiggins, jump shot. That is good. Andrew Wiggins puts the Heat up by 3. Led by as many as 6 in this first quarter. Boucher. There's a jumper, and that is off. Jaime Jaquez Jr. with it. Shot clock turned off here. So there's under 10 seconds in the first quarter. Over to Golden. Back over to Wiggins. Wiggins will get that shot up, and that is no good. We are done with the first 12 minutes of this game here, and the Heat leading it 26-23. We'll be back to start the second quarter. You're watching NBA 2K on VW Productions. As we see here, Fontecchio into the game now. Over to Jovic. The Heat getting the ball to start the second quarter. Norman Powell, jump shot. Good. Jovic. As you see Shireman with it. Boucher for 3. He drains it. Pritchard, Boucher, Garza, Shireman, Minot. The lineup for the Celtics. See Wiggins coming through. Fontecchio for 3. That is off. Boucher has it for the Celtics now. Back over to Peyton Pritchard. Pritchard for 3. That is off. As you see Jaime Jaquez Jr. get that rebound to Norman Powell. Heat up by 2 right now as we're over a minute into the first quarter. Powell with the layup. That is good. Norman Powell and the Heat shooting 14 of 26 compared to the Celtics 10 of 24 here. As we're a minute and 20 into the second quarter, Luka Garza. This is his first time in the game. He's usually it's a Minot with the bucket there. It's a 2-point game. But Luka Garza started the first 2 times in the watch game for the Celtics, but this time it's Keita that got the start. Norman Powell over to Jovic. To Andrew Wiggins, 5 on the shot clock. Fontecchio, jump shot, no good. Boucher with the rebound for the Celts. We're 2 minutes into the game here. It's 30-28. Shireman for the Celtics. Back over to Boucher. Boucher for 3. That's too strong. Jaime Jaquez Jr. with the rebound. See, Norman Powell has it for the Heat. Now it's Wiggins. Back over to Jovic. 8 on the shot clock. Powell has it again. 5 on the shot clock. 2 on the shot clock. Powell will have to get that shot up. That is no good. Garza, though, does get the rebound. Boucher has it. Boucher coming around with the slam dunk. That is in, and we are tied. Norman Powell, as you see, for the Heat with 12 points on 5 of 10 shooting. Wiggins has it as we had some substitutions coming in. As Jovic. Powell for 3. He drains it. That's 15 for Norman Powell. As a timeout called by the Celtics. 8:51 to play. The Heat leading it 33-30. We're going to take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on VW Productions. Back here in Boston, here we got Kel'el Ware here. He's averaging only 11 points a game this season, but the last few games he's averaged 16.6 points a game. As we got 8:51 left until halftime here. 33-30, the Heat on top as you see Garza taking the inbound. Over to Derek White. Luka Garza had 8 points and 6 rebounds in the loss to the Bulls in their last game. Peyton Pritchard, 5 to shoot. Pritchard, deep 2. He drains that one. Heat shooting 52%. Celtics at 46% shooting. Norman Powell said he's been heating up in this game. Coming through, Powell. That is no good. Garza with the rebound. Hauser has it for the Celtics now. Hauser. Pass it to Pritchard. Over to Xavier Tillman Sr. Over there, Derek White for three. Too strong. Jaime Jaquez Jr. will control it for the rebound here. Over 4 minutes into the second quarter. Jaquez Jr. passing to Wiggins. Wiggins from deep two. That is no good. Hauser with the rebound over to Peyton Pritchard. 17 on the shot clock. And there, Celtics looking to try to take the lead again. White, deep jump shot. That is off the mark. Adebayo getting the rebound. Wiggins has it now. Wiggins, jumper, good. Andrew Wiggins puts the Heat back up by 3. Derek White for the Celtics back over to Peyton Pritchard here. 14 on the shot clock as we're approaching 5 minutes into the second quarter. Pritchard for three, in and out. Jaime Jaquez Jr. grabbing the rebound for the Heat. Norman Powell. I see Norman Powell coming through right up there. 10 on the shot clock. Andrew Wiggins passing it over to Bam Adebayo. 5 on the shot clock. Adebayo jumper. That is off the mark. Hauser grabbing the rebound for Boston. To Derek White for three. And Norman Powell controlling it for the Heat. Derek White, 13 points, 4 of 11. All 4 points have 4 of those shots from the field have come from the three-point line. He did have a free throw. He went 1 of 2 on the line. As I mentioned before, Adebayo in their last game against the Brooklyn Nets in a loss. As he misses that one, he had the triple-double. Garza got the rebound. Now to Pritchard. Garza has it again to Derek White. 14 on the shot clock. Peyton Pritchard from deep two. Andrew Wiggins. As we are over halfway through the second quarter. Adebayo. That is good. Bam Adebayo puts the Heat up by 5. Largest lead was 6, and there is a timeout by the Celtics. We're going to take a timeout as well. 37-32 Heat on top. 5:38 left of the second. You are watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. All right, we're back here in Boston. The Heat are up by 5 right now. 5:38 to play in the second. Celtics coming out of timeout. They will have the ball with 20 to shoot. Xavier Tillman will take care of the inbound. And he'll inbound it to Anthony Simons. Simons back over to Derek White. As I said, every shot from the field that he's hit has been from the three-point line. Tillman coming through. 6 on the shot clock. Keita back into the game. Anthony Simons. That is off the mark. Kel'el Ware will have to grab the rebound now. You see Norman Powell, who's had a very strong first half. Powell coming around. Passing it over to Mitchell. Adebayo for 3. He drains it. And the Heat is on top by 8. Under 5 minutes to play until halftime. It's 40-32, Miami on top. Largest lead of the game by either team. That goes in and out as Ware with the rebound again. Larson. Lou Larson with it. Powell with it. I say Pella Larson. Adebayo. Coming through. Adebayo, who had a three-pointer last time. He has to get that shot up. That is off the iron. No good. Simons has it. Now Hauser gets it. 17 on the shot clock for the Celts. Pass it over to Keita, and Keita will get the bucket. 6-point game now. 240 seconds left. Ware misses it. Derek White has it. That is rejected, and Adebayo will control it for the Heat. Going the other way. Larson steps out of bounds. That was Pella bad there for him. And I think they call a timeout. Did they? No, they did not. Wiggins coming back into the game. White taking it for the Celtics. Simons has it. Back over to Hauser. Back to Tillman Sr. Simons coming through. Being guarded by Davion Mitchell. There is a layup attempt, and Mitchell called for the shooting foul.
Personal foul. First team foul.
So the Celtics are going to go to the line. Simons will go and shoot 2 for the Celtics. 3:25 to play in the second. Celtics trailing by 6. I think they had a lead as many as 4 points. The Heat only led by as many as 8. As Simons misses the first one. It's a good thing in the NBA they don't have the 1-and-1 like they do in high school and college. He does drain the second one, so it's Celtics only within 5. See Bam Adebayo being guarded by Xavier Tillman. As we got 10 on the shot clock now. Still looking at it, doesn't know what to do here. 5 on the shot clock. He's got to think fast now. He will get the shot up. That is good. Bam Adebayo. 21 points in this game. And he extends the Heat lead back up to 7. White for 3. He drains it. And the Celtics cut that deficit back down to 4. Davion Mitchell has it for the Heat. Back over to Adebayo. Adebayo, that hook shot is good. That's 23 for Bam Adebayo. 12 assists in this game already. They averaging 23.6 for the Heat. 21st in the NBA in this season playthrough. Hauser with it. That's a deep inside shot. That is off the iron. Adebayo has it back over to Larson. Now Wiggins has it. Back over to Pella Larson to Davion Mitchell. Larson over to Adebayo. Adebayo from deep range. Bam Adebayo has 25 points in this game. 14 of them in the paint. And the Heat back on top for the largest margin of the lead they've had, but Derek White cuts it to 6 again. The Heat, 21 of 41 shooting so far, and the Celtics 16 of 40. See Adebayo back to Mitchell to Kel'el Ware. Back over to Bam Adebayo, who's been on fire. Adebayo make that another shot. He has 27 in this first half. See Derek White. Over to Hauser. Hauser for 3. Hauser will drain it, and a timeout by the Heat. We're going to take a timeout as well. 1:08 to play until halftime. The Heat up by 5. You are watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. We're looking at the league leaders here for the last 30 days for blocks a game. We see Kel'el Ware, 4th place in the last month as far as blocks per game here. So we got 1:08 to play. Ware will bounce it over to Adebayo here. The Heat up by 5. They led by as many as 8 on a couple of occasions. Under a minute to play here. Adebayo, jumper. That is off the rim. Hauser will get it. He had a 3-pointer earlier, and there is a failed alley-oop attempt by Derek White. That's going to be out of bounds. A careless turnover by the Celtics, and the Heat will get it again. 47.3 until halftime. See Davion Mitchell. Over to Andrew Wiggins here. Back over to Adebayo. As I said, he has 27 points in this first half. Adebayo. There's the alley-oop to Ware. Nice assist by Bam Adebayo. And you see that Heat bench is pumped up. They're back up by 7. Second. See Heat back over to Tillman Sr. to Hauser. Hauser to Tillman. 10 on the shot clock. Simons for 3. That is off the rim. Ware has it. Shot clock turned off here. We're now under 10 seconds to play until halftime. Davion Mitchell passing it back over to Bam Adebayo. Adebayo makes the bucket there, up by 9, the largest lead of the game. That's 29 points for... You see Simons for a deep 3. That is in! Did he get it off in time? They say that it's good. Huge three-pointer from half court for the Celtics. However, the Miami Heat still lead by 6. Going into halftime, 52-46, the Heat on top. We're going to halftime. We're going to take a break as well. You are watching NBA 2K on Vida Productions. Get ready to start the third quarter here in Boston. 52-46, the Heat on top. They led by as many as 9, and that was just for a few seconds before that half-court shot cut the lead to 6. You see Bam Adebayo had 29 points in that first half. Ware will inbound into Mitchell to start the second half. 52-46, as I said, for the Heat. Adebayo. Starting 5 is out there for both teams. Adebayo. There's a bucket. That's 31 for him. Picking up where he left off in that first half. White back over to Tillman. See Tillman Sr. passing over to Hauser. Back over to White. White coming through. He's going to get that jump shot up. That is off the iron. No good. Ware had the rebound. Now it's Mitchell. Heat winning the rebound battle 26-20. See Norman Powell coming through, passing it over to Adebayo. Adebayo misses that one. Hauser will get the rebound. Tillman Sr. with this. We are 1 minute into the third quarter. Simons, who had that half-court shot, he'll get that bucket in. It's back to a 6-point game. Mitchell passing over to Ware. Ware back over to Mitchell. Mitchell to Adebayo. Adebayo's had a strong game. He's going to go to the line and count that. Xavier Tillman called for the shooting foul, and Bam Adebayo has a chance to complete the three-point play. He's at 33 points, trying to make it 34. Both teams are looking to get their first win in a watched game. That'll be the last time we see these two teams for a while. And Adebayo does complete the three-point play, and they're back on top by 9. A lead largest lead of the game. Ties the largest lead of the game. They briefly had that before the end of the first half, before Simons hit that three-point shot from half court. 7 to shoot. Simons coming around with a dunk. Anthony Simons had 8 points in that first half. He has 4 now in this third quarter. He has 12 total. Bam Adebayo being guarded by Tillman, and he still gets that shot in. 36 for Adebayo. 8 mid-range points. 9-point lead again for the Heat. Over to White. Derek White for three. He drains it. I'll say this. The Celtics, probably one of the worst teams I've shown in a watched game as far as performance goes, but let me tell you, they're keeping it close right now. Pelle Larsson over to Adebayo. Adebayo with another dunk. That's 38 for him. A timeout called by the Celtics. 61-53, Celtic Heat on top. We're going to take a break. You're watching NBA 2K on VW Productions. Welcome back to in Boston here. The Miami Heat leading at 61-53, 9:24 left in the third quarter. The Heat led by as many as 9 on a couple different occasions. I just see Hauser inbounding it over to White. Derek White passing back over to, see Tillman Sr. has it now. Back over to Hauser. Hauser for three. That is off the mark. Adebayo with the rebound. Larsson has it. 27-21. The edge. Pelle Larsson. That was a Pelle good shot right there by him. And the Heat now up by 10. First time either team has led by double digits. You see Simons. Back over to Tillman Sr. White for three. He drains it. Derek White continuing to impress for the Celtics. I think he's had a very solid game individually in a watched game for the Celtics, even in defeat. Larsson. Back over to Adebayo for three. Off the mark. White with the rebound. So Adebayo has 38 points in this game. And we're not even 4 minutes into the third quarter. Simons over to Tillman Sr. Back over to Hauser to Simons. 4 on the shot clock. Almost lost it. White for three. That is off the mark. Adebayo will control it for the rebound. Davion Mitchell now has it for the Miami Heat. Larsson. As we see here now, 9 on the shot clock. Bam Adebayo. 4 on the shot clock. Back over to Larsson. Larsson for three. He drains it. 10-point lead again for the Heat. Tillman Sr. back over to White. Tillman Sr. passes it over to White, being guarded by Larsson. 7 on the shot clock. Derek White passes over to Simons. Simons for three. That's off the iron. Ware will get the rebound. Pelle Larsson has it. Back to Mitchell. Mitchell for three. That is no good. Tillman Sr. with the rebound. Over to Simons. That was a big pass over there to White. Over to Tillman Sr. Pass it back over to Simons. Simons, 10 on the shot clock. Wants to try to get it through, but Davion Mitchell's not going to let him. Passes over to White. Tillman Sr. now has it. That is off the iron. Larsson will get the rebound. No points in the last 2:10 for the Celtics. Powell gives it, almost loses it for a second, but it's Mitchell that keeps it over here. Adebayo with it now. 8 on the shot clock. See Adebayo. Pass it over to Ware. Ware. Jump shot. No good. Keita with the rebound. Derek White now has it. Long pass over to Hauser. Hauser back over to Simons. Simons coming through. Pass it over to White. White for three. He drains it. Derek White, 27 points. He has 9 in this third quarter. And the margin is back to single digits again as we are over halfway through the third quarter. Bam Adebayo. Pass it over to Ware. Ware. That shot's up. No good. Keita with the rebound. Now Hauser has it. He's crossing the half-court line. Simons. Start to wake up too as well. Simons back to White. White for three. He drains that one. It's a 4-point game. 30 points for Derek White. Like I said, definitely a bright spot for the Celtics in these watched games. You see Adebayo coming down with a slam dunk. He has 40. 10 in mid-range. Tillman Sr. passes it back over to Keita. Under 5 to play in the third. Simons with it. Thought about the shot for a second. Passes over to Hauser. Back to Tillman Sr. Tillman Sr. for three. That is off, but Cada will get the offensive rebound and the slam dunk. And the Heat will call a timeout. 4:41 to play. They lead 68-64. We're going to take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. And we are back here in Boston. 4:41 to play in the third quarter. 68-64. The Heat on top here. They led by as many as 10, and the Celtics have got to within 4 now. Jaime Jaquez Jr. back into the game as he inbounds into Norman Powell. Powell also had a pretty strong first half. You see over to Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins coming through. He loses it. Simons with the steal. Simons coming around. Simons is going to go to the... Yes, he's going to go to the line, as they call that the act of shooting there. Bam Adebayo called for his first personal foul. The Celtics lost their first game to the Clippers down by 29 points. And then they lost by 33 to the Knicks early in schedule block number 1. For them to keep it within 2 is really something. You see Simons hitting the first one as Jovic is coming back into the game. .423 to play in the third. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do come out. As Simons hits them both, and there's a tip, and Hauser will control it with the steal. Chance to tie or take the lead for the first time since the first quarter. Pritchard back to Tillman Sr. Tillman Sr. to Pritchard. 9 on the shot clock. And there, Pritchard, jumper. He drains it. That's a three-pointer, and the Celtics are back on top. They are on top by 1. First time they have led since the first quarter. Adebayo with 40 points in this game, controlling it for the Heat. 13 on the shot clock. Adebayo gets that shot, but he's blocked by Cada, and Cada has it, controls it there. Chance to extend the lead. Hauser for 3. No good. Jovic will get the rebound. Jaime Jaquez Jr. now passing over to Wiggins. Norman Powell has it. The Heat trailing by 1 for the first time since the first quarter. 9 on the shot clock. Powell. Back over to Jaquez Jr. to Jovic. Over to Wiggins. Wiggins for 3. That is off the iron. Cada will get the rebound. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Celtics leading by 1. Peyton Pritchard over to Simons. To Hauser. Hauser over to Simons. Simons for 3. That is off the iron. Jovic will get the rebound for the Heat as Jaime Jaquez Jr. with it. Pass it over to Powell. Powell with the layup, and it's good. Heat back on top by 1. Under 2.5 to play in the third quarter. Tillman Sr. Over to Pritchard, back over to Hauser, back to Pritchard Sr. here. 10 on the shot clock. Simons has it. 7 on the shot clock. He almost lost it for a second. Hauser for 3. That is off the iron. Adebayo grabbing the rebound. Jaquez Jr. with it. Back over to Powell. Powell will lose it. Cada will have it now. Simons coming through with it. He almost lost it for a second here as we're under 2 minutes to play in the third. Simons for 3. That is off. Cada will get the offensive rebound, though. 10 on the shot clock. Pritchard. That is no good. Wiggins will get the rebound for the Heat. Have ourselves a game here. Powell for 3. That is off the iron. Cada will get the rebound for the Celtics. I see Peyton Pritchard going coast to coast after getting that pass, but he's going to pass it to Hauser. Back over to Simons. Celtics looking to try to retake the lead. Shot is up. That is off the iron. Adebayo with the rebound. Jaime Jaquez Jr. to Wiggins. Wiggins pass it to Powell. Powell for 3. That is off. Cada will get the rebound there. Under a minute to play here in the third quarter. Simons coming around with a slam dunk. And the Celtics are up by 1. Anthony Simons has 16 points for the Celtics. Norman Powell for 3. That is off the iron. Hauser with the rebound. You see Peyton Pritchard with it. Over to Hauser. Passing it back over to Pritchard here. 10 on the shot clock. Pritchard finding Tillman Sr. 3 on the shot clock. There's Simons for 3. That's no good. Adebayo with the rebound. Shot clock turned off here. Heat controlling it. The Hawkins Jr. to Powell. Powell passes it back over to Wiggins. Less than 5 seconds to go in the third. Wiggins coming around. That is no good. Cato with the rebound, and that will do it. The Boston Celtics, trailing by 10. They made a furious comeback. They now lead by 1 at the end of 3. We'll be back to start the fourth quarter. You are watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. Starting the fourth quarter, we'll start off with the assist of the game. That goes to Hauser on a Simons layup there. The Celtics will inbound it. See Boucher, Chris Boucher has it inbounds at the Peyton Pritchard here. Celtics leading by 1. Pritchard, White, Garza, Boucher, and Minot in the lineup for the Celtics to start the fourth quarter here as Derek White. 4-3. He's fouled. Is that a 3 or are they going to give him 2?
Personal foul. First team foul. At the line for the Celtics, Derek White. At the line for 3 shots.
They're going to give him 3 shots here. And while we got the free throws, I want to let everybody know here in the fourth quarter, when this game is over with, we're not done yet. We have the statistics as well as the post-game ticker and the injury report. As you see, Derek White making the first one. And then we're also going to announce that tomorrow's game, we will be in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. We'll see the Toronto Raptors for a second time in schedule block number 2. The second and last time we'll see them for schedule block number 2. As White makes the second one. He went 1 of 2 his first time around, but he's hit the first 2. So we will have an Atlantic Division battle between the Toronto Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets from the Barclays Center in the next game. So that is your next matchup. Jovic has it. Back over to Powell. Powell for 3. That is off the iron. Boucher will get the rebound. Peyton Pritchard. Celtics matching their largest lead of the game, up by 4. Derek White for 3. That's off as Fontecchio will grab the rebound. Back over to Norman Powell. Powell coming through. Back over to Hawkins Jr. Back to Wiggins. Wiggins to Fontecchio. Hawkins back to Powell. Less than 5 on the shot clock. Powell will get the shot up. That is off. Minot will get the rebound. Dating back to the end of the third quarter, you see the Heat almost on a 4-minute drought. Minot has it. Back over to Derek White for 3. He drains it, and the Celtics lead their largest lead of the game, 7 points. So we are a minute and a half into the fourth quarter. Norman Powell coming through. Powell will get the bucket. That will end the 4+ minute drought there. Norman Powell, 19 points for the Heat. They trail by 5 here. Derek White over to Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard layup is good. Celtics extend the lead back to 7. As we see, Norman Powell has it. Hawkins Jr. for 3. Off the iron, Luka Garza with the rebound. Pritchard with it. Coming through, White has it. White with the layup, or the dunk, I should say. That is in there. Derek White continuing to impress in this game. The Celtics leading it by 9. Over 2.5 minutes into the third quarter. Timeout, Miami. The Celtics Once down by 10, they lead by 9. 9:23 to play in the fourth. We're going to take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. We are back here in Boston. The Celtics, as I said, trail by as many as 10 in the third quarter. Now lead by 8 over 2.5 minutes here in the fourth. See Jaime Jaquez Jr. coming out to inbound it for the Heat. Inbounds it over to Wiggins. Game of runs here. Adebayo back into the game. He has 40 points. Jovic back over to Wiggins. 8 on the shot clock. Still holding on to it. Adebayo back over to Wiggins. Wiggins for 3. That is off the iron. Pritchard with the rebound here. Back over to Derek White. White getting that screen for a second. Over to Queta. Queta with the slam dunk. And the Celtics for the first time are up ahead by double digits, and it's the largest lead by any team. 11-point lead. Here in the fourth quarter. Norman Powell for 3. In and out. Queta with the rebound. Derek White has it for the Celts. Celtics looking to get their first win of this watched game. Boucher for 3. Off the iron. Wiggins will get the rebound as Norman Powell has it for the Heat. Powell wants to get that shot, but he passes it over to Adebayo. Adebayo with the slam dunk. That will end the drought a little bit there. That's 42 points for him. 24 of them in the paint. And the Heat within 9 again. 7:45 to play in the fourth. 10 on the shot clock. Derek White to Boucher. Chris Boucher for 3. He drains it. And the Celtics now with their largest lead at 12. 7.5 to play. Norman Powell has it for the Heat. Coming around. Pass it over to Adebayo. Adebayo is going to get an and one opportunity again. Queta will get called for the foul there. Ware coming back into the game for Jovic. Adebayo moving back to the power forward position. Simons, Hauser, and Tillman Sr. coming back into the game. Adebayo with a chance to cut this back to single digits again. And he does, and he has 45 points. White also impressive for the Celtics. Hauser for 3. That's off the iron, and Adebayo will get the rebound. Andrew Wiggins. Pass it over to Jaquez Jr. Jaquez Jr. buckets up. That is good. It's only a 7-point game now. 6:53 to play here in the fourth. 86-79, Celtics on top. Both teams looking to get their first win in a watched game. Hauser with a jumper. That is good. I don't know if that was a jumper, but that definitely was a mid-range. And the Celtics increase their lead back up to 9. Powell back to Adebayo. 6:25 to play, and that is a defensive 3-second violation against the Miami Heat. No, that's Heat ball. That's against the Celtics. I don't know what I'm talking about. Defensive 3-second violation will result in a free throw. I think maybe 2 free throws. And they get to keep possession of the ball. Powell will miss it. So it is only one shot. Mitchell coming back into the game. Larson coming back into the game. Mitchell with it. Less than 10 on the shot clock. Ware for 3. That is off. Adebayo will get the offensive rebound and the slam dunk. Lead is back down to 7 for the Celtics. 47 points for Adebayo in this game. Queta, and he's going to go to the line as Ware called for his first foul. Cada going to shoot 2. And he misses the first one. Gotta make those. So the Celtics were up by as many as 12 here in this fourth quarter. It's a 7-point lead. Still 3 possessions either way. And he'll sink the second one. The lead back up to 8 after that free throw for the Celtics. 5:50 to play in the fourth. 89-81 Heat. Or no, Celtics I should say. Powell coming around. That is in. Norman Powell has 21 points. And the Heat within 6. Heat had a 10-point lead in that third quarter. Only for the Celtics to come back. White passes up that opportunity for a shot. Simons with it with 8 on the shot clock. Simons for 3. He drains it! 9-point lead again for the Celtics. Both teams had double-digit point leads in this game. Mitchell over to Powell. Powell. Is that a 3-point attempt? That is no good. Cada with the rebound. Back over to Hauser. 4:50 to play. Celtics up by 9 here. 10 on the shot clock. Simons deep 2. He drains that one, and it's 11-point lead again for the Celts. 4:35 left in the fourth. Pelle Larsson. Back over to Adebayo. Bam Adebayo. Oh, that was a failed attempt there for an alley-oop. The Celtics with it. Simons has it. There's Derek White for 3. No good. Ware with the rebound. Big basketball pass to Larsson. Over to Mitchell. Mitchell back to Kel'el Ware. Adebayo for 3. That is off the iron. Hauser with the rebound. Back over to Simons. To White. White back over to Simons. 8 to shoot. White for 3. That is off the iron. Powell with the rebound. Back over to Davion Mitchell. Over to Ware. Back to Adebayo here. Got to get something going. 9 to shoot. Adebayo. Layup attempt. That is no good. Cada with the rebound. Hauser has it. 3:10 in the fourth. Left in the fourth. Celtics just holding on to it right now. And there, Cada. And he thought about the shot. Cada, basket is no good. Norman Powell has it. The Heat, no points in nearly 3 minutes. But Adebayo, though, says, nope, we're going to end that drought. Powell will have the assist there. That's 49 points for Bam Adebayo. But they might need his performance to come back. Adebayo with another rebound. Norman Powell has it for the Miami Heat. Back to Davion Mitchell. Mitchell to Adebayo. Adebayo with the dunk. It's a 7-point game. 51 points for Bam Adebayo in this game. And it's the second 50-point performance in a watch game so far this season. Both of them have been against the Boston Celtics, as Kawhi Leonard had one. Simons misses that one. Adebayo with the rebound. Norman Powell probably could have taken a transition 3 right there. But you see Adebayo. That shot is up. That is no good. Cada with the rebound. Or Cada with the rebound. White over to Simons. Simons with a dunk. Said Anthony Simons, Derek White have had some really good games. And there's a 5-second violation against the Celtics. Or against the Heat, I should say. Celtics will get the ball. Tillman Sr. looking to inbound it here before he gets called for a 5-second violation. See White there with the team up by 9. Simons. A minute and a half. White coming through. White. Passes up the shot to Hauser. Back over to Simons. 5 on the shot clock. Simons. Jump shot. That is no good. Ware getting the rebound for the Heat. Minute 10 left to play. Larson passes that up. He probably could have taken a shot there. Ware to Mitchell. Mitchell back over to Adebayo. Adebayo. That shot is good. That's 53 points for him. White has it. See Derek White under a minute to play here. 14 on the shot clock, leading by 7. Hauser. 8 on the shot clock. Back over to Keita. Over to Simons for 3. He drains it. It's a 10-point lead for the Celtics. That might have put the game out of reach. Adebayo. There's a bucket there. That's 55 for him, but it might not be enough. And they're not fouling. I'm actually surprised they're not fouling yet. They're just letting this game go on. Simons. They do have to get a shot off. That's a miss right there. Adebayo there. I don't know what they're doing. They're not making any desperation there. 2, 1. Mitchell for 3. That is off the iron. That time runs out, and the Celtics are going to walk away with a 99-91 win. For the Celtics, they move to 11-18, and for the Heat, they fall to 10-18 in the season playthrough. Miami Heat led by as many as 10, and they lose by 8. See Derek White, the player of the game. And we are not done yet. We are now looking at the statistics. Looking at the victorious Boston Celtics who are at home. Let's start off with Derek White stats. 38 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists in the game. He is the player of the game by 2K26. Anthony Simons, 26 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, and a steal. What's his name? Namia Keita. Keita, 13 points, 18 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Double-double for him. Chris Boucher, 8 points, 2 rebounds. Peyton Pritchard only had 7 points, but 1 rebound, 1 assist. Sam Hauser, 5 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Josh Minott, only 2 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist. Xavier Tillman only had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Luka Garza, 4 rebounds and 1 assist. Baylor Shireman, 1 assist in the game. Then you got Max Shulga, Hugo Gonzalez, Amari Williams, RJ Lewis Jr., and Jordan Walsh didn't play for the Celtics. And now for the Miami Heat. Only 2 players were in double figures scoring-wise. And that was led by Bam Adebayo, 55 points, 17 rebounds, 2 assists. I think that's probably the best effort in a watch game by anybody by a mile. However, he did not get player of the game. His team did not win. Norman Powell, 21 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. Andrew Wiggins, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Pelle Larsson, 5 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. That was a pathetic effort by Larson. Kel'el Ware, 2 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist and a steal. Jaime Jaquez Jr., 2 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. Davion Mitchell only had 7 assists. Nikola Jovic, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Simone Fontecchio only had 1 rebound. Drew Smith had 1 minute to play. Vladislav Golden, only 1 assist. Kasparis Yakachonish, if that's how I pronounce his name. He only had 1 rebound, 4 minutes of play. Myron Gardner, Keshad Johnson, Those two did not play for the Miami Heat. And those are your player statistics for this game. It is now time for the post-game ticker brought to you by 2K Sports. And we're going to complete the games for Friday, December 19, 2025. As I said, the game we just watched, the Celtics winning 99-91, coming back from 10 points down in the third quarter to win by 8. The Celtics led by as many as 12. We have in New York, we show why the Knicks continue to show why they are the best team in the East, winning 139-121 over the Philadelphia 76ers. The Spurs 122-115 winners over the Atlanta Hawks. In C-Town, the Bulls defeat the Cavaliers 114-102. And in Minneapolis, the Oklahoma City Thunder pull even with the Minnesota Timberwolves for the best record in the entire league. They defeat the T-Wolves in Minneapolis 118-107. And now we look at the games for Saturday, December 20th, 2021, or 2025, I should say. We have in the Mile High City, the Nuggets defeating the Rockets 120-104. Pacers 116-104 winners over the Pelicans. The Mavericks 123-103 winners over the Philadelphia 76ers. The Raptors get their 12th win of the season, 129-109 over the Boston Celtics. The Hornets fall to the Pistons 130-124. The Wizards will get their 10th win of the season, 123-120 winners over the Grizzlies. As I said, the Wizards are a lot better in this universe than they are in real life. The Warriors, 103-79 winners over the Phoenix Suns. And the Magic get back to 500, winning 139-126 over the Utah Jazz, who are now a league worst 2-25. The Kings light the beam in Sacramento, winning 126-92 over the Portland Trailblazers. And last but not least, the Clippers winning the Lakers winning the Freeway Series in Intuit Dome. They win 122-19 over the Los Angeles Clippers. And that is your post-game ticker, as my buddy RJL Network would say. If your team won, congratulations. If not, there's always tomorrow. And now time to take a look at the injury report. Starting off with the Philadelphia 76ers, Andre Drummond back on the injured list. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. Bucks are fully healthy. Bulls, same thing. Jared Allen still out 4 to 6 weeks for the Cavaliers. As I mentioned, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown out with injury. John Collins still out 2 to 4 weeks with an injury for the Clippers. Grizzlies, Hawks are fully healthy. Terry Rozier, as I said, suspended for indefinitely. Tyler Hero, day-to-day still, he's out. LaMelo Ball out 4 to 6 weeks still for the Hornets. Utah Jazz, Sacramento Kings are fully healthy. Giresun Yabusele, Jalen Brunson, and McBride still out for the Knicks. For the Lakers, Dalton Neck is out 6 to 8 weeks as Rui Hachimura is back in the lineup for the Lakers. Jalen Suggs still out for the Magic. Anthony Davis out, as well as Dante Exum and Thompson and Klay Thompson. Brooklyn Nets are fully healthy, so we will see a healthy Nets team. Peyton Watson is out for the Nuggets. Halliburton, we know, is out for the Pacers. Pelicans are fully healthy. Jaden Ivey out for the Pistons. Raptors are fully healthy, so we will have a game between the Raptors and the Nets between teams that are fully healthy, so that's a good thing. Rockets are without Van Fleet. As I mentioned, Vassell, who got hurt in the last game, he's out, as well as Fox. Suns are fully healthy. Thunder are without Isaiah Hartenstein again. Julius Randle. Now Anthony Edwards is out for the Timberwolves, as well as Dante DiVincenzo. That's going to be interesting because the Timberwolves are off to a hot start. We'll see how they do without those big three players. Kamara is added to the Portland Trailblazers injured list. He's out again. Of course, we already know with Lillard being out. Curry still out day-to-day for the Warriors, and Cam Whitmore still out for the Wizards. And that will do it for this injury report. And before we sign off, I want to remind everybody that the next game will be in an Atlantic Division battle featuring the Toronto Raptors at the Brooklyn Nets from the Barclays Center. This calendar day will be Sunday, December 21st, 2005. And I will warn you guys, there will be an extended post-game ticker for that game because the next game after that on my calendar date will be a Christmas Day game. I will announce that game in the fourth quarter tomorrow. And that will do it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon for notifications when these videos do come out. And by the way, I want to let everybody know, if you want to see exactly my exact schedule, I will not announce the teams that are playing the games, but you will get the dates and times of when you should expect each video to come out for my NBA 2K26 for my on my community tab, as well as the dates for my college football playoff simulation. Or not playoff simulation, but my college football 26 simulation. And I mean, I will be simulating the actual 12-team playoff as well, using simulation, but leading up to those games, as well as when my 28-team projection videos will be coming out. So do look at my community tab. I will not announce any of those games because I do not know, especially for the college football game, and I want to leave you guys with a cliffhanger going into the fourth quarter of every game, or every game before I announce the next game. So you should expect games to come out every single day. I mean, I will be making an announcement that I'll be taking some time away from NBA 2K, but that will be after my second schedule block, so I can focus on my 28-team college football playoff as well as the simulation for the actual 12-team college football playoff. So I will let you know about that. But I hope you did enjoy this. And that is enjoy this video. Reminding you guys, the final score of this game, the Boston Celtics come back from 10 down in the third quarter to defeat the Miami Heat 99-91. I am Vinny from Vita Productions, and I am signing off.